Mirage 2000. What are the French planes delivered to Ukraine, and how do they work? Range of 1,500 kilometers and speed of over 2,000 per hour. The first Mirage 2000 fighters sent by France to Ukraine are not simple combat aircraft. They are real concentrates of military technology, designed to ensure superiority in the air and versatility on the battlefield. Conceived in the late 70s and constantly updated, these Delta geometry fighters boast high maneuverability and a weapon system capable of dealing with complex missions, both in defense and in attack. Now France, which helps the Ukrainians to resist but does not want escalation, according to what President Macron said last June in an interview with the television station France 2, has launched a new cooperation with Kiev that provides for the supply of Mirage 2005 fighters and the training of Ukrainian pilots. Paris has decided to make these aircraft available to Ukraine, the second Western model, after the F-16, to be integrated into Kiev's armed forces. According to the French Minister of the Armed Forces, Sébastien Lecornu, the Mirage 2000s destined for Ukraine will not only be equipped with advanced electronic self-defense systems, but will also undergo specific modifications to enable air-to-ground operations, thus expanding their tactical and strategic use in an increasingly dynamic war context. The strategic fighter for defense and attack. The Mirage 2000, a multi-role fighter jet produced by Dassault Aviation, made its maiden flight in 1978 and entered service in the French Air Force in 1984. The aircraft, which is also appreciated on the international market, has been chosen by countries such as Abu Dhabi, Egypt, Greece, India, Peru, Qatar, Taiwan, and the United Arab Emirates, confirming itself as a strategic asset in the global defense landscape. Version 5 of the Mirage 2000 has been developed to enhance air defense capabilities while maintaining high versatility for ground attacks. Thanks to state-of-the-art avionics equipment, the aircraft integrates new features for air-to-air and air-to-ground combat, allowing multiple targets to be engaged with the aid of RDY radar, supported by modernized sensors and control systems. Single-seater and single-engine with a delta wing, the Mirage 2000 reaches a top speed of about 2,530 kilometers per hour, Mach 2.07, in clean configuration, and has a range of about 1,550 kilometers without the aid of additional tanks. These technical specifications make it a key element in defense and attack strategies, capable of operating in complex and dynamic scenarios on the international geopolitical field. The need for training on the use of new aircraft. The diversification of the Ukrainian fighter line appears problematic. The introduction of new aircraft implies the training of an entire infrastructure on the ground, including personnel who must familiarize themselves with the new asset. Such a process takes time, a valuable resource that could be better used to optimize the use of the F-16s. In addition, in order for pilots and mission officers to take full advantage of the capabilities of the new fighters, an in-depth training course is essential to learn specific operational tactics. In this scenario, France's direct support on the ground becomes crucial, both for the management of spare parts logistics and for the technical training of ground personnel, thus ensuring an effective and timely integration of the new aircraft into the Ukrainian operational doctrine. Limited but strategic benefits for Ukraine. The integration of the Mirage 2000 into Ukrainian operational structures will probably require some adaptations to ensure interoperability with other fighters already in service, with a focus on compatibility of communication systems and joint mission planning. Although Ukraine has already demonstrated the ability to integrate NATO weapons systems with Soviet-Russian ones, this process will not be immediate and will take time. Despite this, the introduction of another fourth-generation fighter will certainly bring benefits on the battlefield, although not such as to bring about a radical change in the balance of operations. The U.S. Navy has released the first real image of the Helios, an advanced laser weapon system installed on warship. The system, which has been in testing for at least 4 years, aims to evaluate its functionality against unmanned targets. Despite progress, there is still no date for its official use in combat, as improvements in energy efficiency and adaptation to different climatic conditions are needed. Developed by Lockheed Martin since 2018, the Helios uses a 60 kilowatt laser that can be adjusted to almost triple its power. It stands out for its ability to fire continuously, making it more efficient than conventional ammunition. The technology also includes an Aegis tracking system and a mechanism that blinds enemy sensors, making drone and missile attacks more difficult. The cooling of the weapon is done by air and water stored on the ship. The first ship to receive the Helios is the USS Preble DDG-88, a destroyer of the United States Navy. The plan is to use the technology to shoot down aerial threats and in the future deploy it on other military vessels. Other countries, such as the United Kingdom, South Korea, Russia, and Israel, are also developing similar laser weapons, indicating a growing trend toward the use of this technology in modern combat. Russia. Nuclear reactors turned on the world's largest warship, the Admiral Nakhimov, ready to return to the sea. The Russian Navy has put back into operation the two nuclear reactors that power the country's last Kirov-class battlecruiser, the Admiral Nakhimov, which therefore seems destined to resume exercises at sea in the coming months. This was reported by Russian state media, specifying that the first reactor was reactivated at the end of December and the second on February 2nd. The operation of the two reactors, which took place in a short space of time, shows that the ship is ready to be engaged in all its modalities, remarks the TASS news agency. Roadmap. The Admiral Nakhimov is one of 4 Kirov-class battlecruisers built for the Soviet Navy in the 1980s, and at the time were by far the best surface combat ships in the world. Thanks to their tonnage of 28,000 tons, they were 3 times larger than the American Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, were more than twice the size of any other surface combat ship, and their displacement was comparable to aircraft carriers, such as the Japanese Izumo-class destroyer. As the only surface combat ships to use nuclear propulsion systems, these cruisers are capable of sustaining high speeds of 32 knots and powering high-energy weaponry and sensors for prolonged themes. It remains to be seen whether the roadmap indicated by the Russian media proves realistic, given that the return to service of the warship has been delayed several times in the past. Last Sunday, the second reactor of the Admiral Nakhimov was put back into operation, a Russian defense source assured TASS. He added that the first reactor was reactivated at the end of December. The ship is currently located in the Sevmash shipyard in the port city of Severodvinsk on the White Sea. Potential launched in 1986, the Admiral Nakhimov is part of the class of warships known in Russia as Project 114442, while NATO's code name is Kirov class from NATO. For years, the Admiral Nakhimov has been in dry dock for a radical renovation and an ambitious project to transform it into a state-of-the-art ship by equipping it with a whole range of new weapons and sensors. In 2021, Andrei Dashkov, CEO of the Severnoy Design Bureau, provided an initial update on the status of the work. The high potential for modernization integrated into these ships at the time of their design helped to carry out specific interventions and equip the Admiral Nakhimov with the most advanced weapons. This makes it the most powerful surface combat ship in the world. The firepower, guaranteed by 176 long-range missiles and the Zircon hypersonic missile, combined with the power of a dual nuclear propulsion system, make the Admiral Nakhimov highly competitive, although from what has transpired, it does not have the characteristics of the most advanced warships, such as the Chinese Type 55 and the American Zumwalt. Type 055 is equipped with radar and sensors that allow complete aerial and surface surveillance, as well as electronic warfare systems. Zumwalt is capable of hitting targets 100 miles away with electromagnetic cannons, and its tracking is reduced to the point where it appears on radar the size of a fishing boat. Kirov-class ships such as the Admiral Nakhimov were developed at a time when the Soviet Union represented the second largest offshore navy and was rapidly closing the gap with the United States. Post-Soviet Russia, by contrast, has not designed any ship the size of a destroyer or cruiser except for commercial purposes, and now all the vehicles engaged in combat are about 1/5 of the Admiral Nakhimov. Bringing the latter back to full operation was complicated. It remained inactive for over a decade in the icy White Sea, and the works showed the first progress only in 2014. Since then, the planned delivery date has also been repeatedly postponed. Originally, the project was supposed to be completed in 2018. Then it slipped from one year to the next. And in 2022, the Sevmash shipyard said that the return to service would not take place before 2024. Now, the Admiral Nakimov seems ready for the new launch, with 174 vertical launch tubes and the use of missiles, including the subsonic Kaliber, the supersonic Onyx, and presumably the hypersonic Zircon.